Hello everyone. In today's class, we will looking a new concept called potential. And since we are still dealing with electrostatic case, I am looking at electrostatic potential. Okay, and the electrostatic potential is sometime denoted by phi or sometime denoted by V. Okay, I will use V for now, but sometime later I might switch to phi. It doesn't matter which one you use. Both terms are equally used in literature. Okay. So now I choose a particularly interesting electric field pattern, right? So let's say I don't want to choose the point charge. I choose a particularly interesting field which is I somehow has generated and which electric field is pointing horizontally, and it is all uniform along this particular direction. Okay, such an electric field we have already discussed how to obtain. You can have a long line of charge, and this is essentially the electric field that is used by producing it, except that its magnitude would be decreasing. But here I am assuming that the magnitude is same. Okay, now consider 2 points here, R2 and R1. Okay, now imagine that I am taking a particular test charge delta Q. Okay, so I am taking test charge delta Q. I am going to move this test charge from R2 to R1. Okay, and I am going to move test charge along this orange path from R2 to R1. Remember that my electric field is uniform, which means its magnitude is not changing and its direction is also always along this horizontal to the right. Okay, so I am moving from R2 to R1. Now I know that I do not move it right if I just keep the test charge at position R2. Since the electric field is directed to the right, the charge would simply accelerate to the right, because if I have a test charge delta Q, okay, there will be a force acting on this, and the force will be E times delta Q, correct? And the force acting on delta Q is E into delta Q if I have to move the charge from one point to another point. Okay, what would I what would I have to do is I have to perform some work. Which way I am performing the work? I am actually moving charge from against the field, right? I am just taking it against the field from R2 to R1. Okay, against the field is pointing in right side, but I am trying to move to left side. Okay, so I have to expend some energy. I have to perform some work in order to move my point. How much work should I perform? Work must be equals to force that I am applying times the distance I move. So this is again from mechanics concept of moving a block. So I have a block, I move it a distance of d, and I apply a force F. Then the work is force into distance, and I will add negative sign here just to indicate that this work is done against the field. Since I am doing this work because I have to move this charge from R2 to R1. Okay, so I am doing work against the field. Okay, so this is work is being done against the field. Work done is force into distance. What is force? Force is E delta Q, which is test charge, times the electric field at this particular point times the distance. So let's say I moved the distance from R2 to R1 over here, okay, along this path. So I moved a distance of R2 minus R1. If I now define how much work I need to perform in order to move 1 unit charge, I define this as potential. I will just clear the screen. Okay, so I define this as potential, and that potential will be, this E is not there. Okay, so this potential will be equals to minus E delta R. Delta R is the length along the along which I moved or the distance I have moved, and this potential can be represented by V. So V is equals to minus E delta R, or sometime you can see that the same thing written as minus E delta X, because this is XY plane and you can either do that one. This is XY plane. Okay, so I am going to use E minus E delta R for now. Okay, so this is potential. Now what significance is the potential? You remember from your mechanics course that potential, for example, you have an object which is lying at some sea level, and we take sea level at the origin here, and there is a mountain on the sea, like adjacent to the sea. Okay, not on the sea, of course. There will be adjacent to the sea, there will be a mountain. Suppose there is a object over here, up here, and from the height the object fall down. Let's say mountain is of 100 or 1000 meter high from the sea level. So when this object drop down, all the energy of that object possessed by virtue of it being top on the mountain would actually be converted into kinetic energy as it drop down, right? However, how did this object up there, how did the object manage to get itself up to the mountain? Someone has to take the object from sea level to mountain. So someone must have done work. Whatever that work that someone has done gets stored in potential energy. So we say that this particular on the mountain top, the potential energy say is 1000. It means that there must be 1000 units of potential energy that would be that one can harness to convert kinetic when you drop the object. Okay, very simple to this one. Suppose if you take the charge and put it at the point R1, you move delta Q from R2 to R1. If you now just leave the charge, if you just stop, the charge will move on its own because the force is pushing on this one. Okay, and the charge will move and it will get accelerated and there will be kinetic energy. However, that kinetic energy, when it goes from acceleration, there will be a kinetic energy. However, that kinetic energy when it goes from R1 to R2 will be a kinetic energy. The energy that it has expended from potential energy that it has gained by someone moving the object. Okay, so if someone move against the field, we are imparting the energy to the object, in the object can actually convert into that energy, potential energy, into kinetic energy. Okay, so this is potential is minus E delta R. Note that the fact potential is a work done against the field is indicated by negative sign. Okay, so this is important. We will later see why it is important. Okay, now here is where Newton per coulomb is your work done per meter. Things come. Okay, so you have work done per delta Q. Okay, where Newton times meter is work done. Okay, and charge is given by coulomb. Work done per charge will be coulombs meter per coulomb, Newton meter per coulomb. Okay, but we have also seen that potential, right? This is electrical field. I will just clear it once. So work done per charge is the potential. And SI unit of potential is measured in terms of volts. So work done per charge is potential, which is measured in volts. So work is Newton meter, coulombs is given by charge, Newton meter by coulomb we can also represent as voltage. So I have potential, this is voltage, work is in joule per charge, but work was also equals to E delta R. E is unit for which we are looking for, and delta is the distance that I measured in meters. So this is in meter. So unit of E might turn out to be joule, coulombs, meter. Okay, coulombs per meter. Okay, however, we have also seen that potential itself is nothing but work done per charge. So we have the unit of electric field will now be written as joules per coulomb meter. But we have also seen that potential is defined as work done per charge per coulomb, right? So joule per coulomb, so I can replace joule per coulomb by volts. That is giving me electric field E measured in unit volts per meter. Okay, this is where the unit of electric field comes from, volts per meter. Okay, you recall we had uniform electric field in a given region of space, and this electric field over a small distance, at least we can consider it to be constant. Let electrical field will be directed along horizontal line to the right. Okay, then I pick 2 points over here called R2 and R1. If you would like, then I will define, or I will find out what is amount of work is required to move charge particle from test or a test charge from point R2 to R1. Please note that this movement is against the electric field. So we will take this against the electric field into account when we write down the expression for work done on the charge. So work done on the charge is force that we apply times the distance that we are moving. So if I call distance as delta R, and from figure delta R is R2 minus R1. Okay, so when I move a distance of delta R along this particular path against the field, I will perform some work, but I know that force on test charge is also given by electric field at that particular point, and we assume that electric field is a constant as we move from R2 to R1. Okay, so what we actually get is not exactly, well, though this is work done, if we divide work done from test charge, okay, that is to say, if we calculate what is work per charge or work per test charge, that will give me potential. Although here we have shown that this work done should actually think as differential amount of work done, that is exact amount of work done that we need in order to move charge from R2 to R1, assuming that charge is already moved from some point R2. So in essence, what we are getting from equation is not absolute potential, but the potential difference between R2 and R1. Okay, so with reference to some zero potential, this quantity that we have just written down is actually potential difference between R2 and R1. So you have delta V is equals to minus E delta R, because I assume the direction of movement is along R direction. Okay, and what is the potential difference here? It is a potential difference, the point R1 and R2, which is equals to minus E delta R. Now there is no rule, there is no requirement that I should always move along the line that is parallel to electric field. Okay, Sometimes I might choose a path in which electric field would make an angle with respect to the path although which I am moving the charge, along which I am moving the charge. So in that case, how does the definition change? So well, you know, this already above from mechanics, that if I take a particular object and I apply a force, the force will move the object, and if the force in a line with the displacement of the object, then force experienced by the object will be maximum. However, if I now push the object, if I pull this object, for example, in this direction, not all the magnitude of force is experienced by the object. How much force is actually experienced by the object, or how much work that is done by the object, is given by dot product of two vectors. So if I call this as delta x as a vector, or I call it delta x hat as the vector element or the direction along which I am moving the amount of work that is done actually is the dot product between f and the displacement vector, this displacement and f. So I know that the amount of work done is f dot delta x, and in case we let delta x goes to 0, in limiting process delta x goes to 0 because dx, so the work done or the differential amount of work done is actually equals to f dx x hat. Okay, so this is the amount of the work done. Now with the same analogy, how here with respect to electric field, we can now write down, say that the voltage difference or differential amount of voltage between 2 points, if I move a distance along dx, is actually minus E dot dl. Okay, so what is dl? If you remember coordinate system that we talk about, dl was the line element, and it is actually a vector in which gives us direction of movement. So if I move in a arbitrary path, then the arbitrary movement can be characterized by this line segment, which is a vector line segment, which is dl. Okay, so now if I pick 2 points B and A, let's say I am moving the charge from point B to A in space to another point A in space. Okay, so I am picking up particular path over here, and the path, the total potential difference between 2 points, or the potential difference between 2 points A and B, will be obtained by integrating the expression integrating the expression dv is equals to minus E dot dl. We are integrating this expression over the entire path. So this path is given name called C, and the potential difference between two paths, namely V at minus V at B, V at A minus V at B, the potential difference will be integral from B to A, E dot dl. What is E? What is dl? dl is vector element, line element here, and electric field is the electric field of the region or the space in which we are moving the charge. Okay, so this expression is very crucial for you to note down. Okay, the potential difference between 2 points is given by line integral of electric field, which is a vector quantity along a particular direction. So note that the both electric field, which is vector quantity along particular direction. So note that line segment both are vectors. So you need to specify the direction of path, as well as you need to specify the corresponding values of electric field at each point in the path that you are taking. Now there are certain very easy consequences that we can find out. One of the thing that has happened over here is that left hand side is actually a scalar, okay, and for the electrostatic field that we are considering, this line integral or the path integral is completely independent of path that you have choose. It depends on endpoints of the path a and b, okay. It doesn't depends upon the path. How? So for example, if I take one path from point b to a, point a, so I go straight up along this path, then the potential difference will be delta v. This is delta v or v a minus v of b. So this is some potential that you are going to get if you follow the path number 1, which is straight line from b to a. Suppose you do not go straight from b to a. Let's say you go from b to some another point c, and from c ahead to point a. Of course you are still going the same final point, but you are now taking different path. So now let's call this path 2. So it can be shown that we are considering this line integral or potential difference will not be a function of path that I have chosen, okay. All the path with the same initial and final point will lead to same potential difference, okay. So delta v is independent of the path. So this is one very important observation. Let us mark it. Delta v is independent of path, independent of path, and it depend only on endpoints, okay. So you would choose any path, this will depend only on endpoint. Now a possible explanation for this particular observation that we have made can be obtained by looking at point charge field. Okay, so these are the point charge field that I have. Now imagine that I am moving from along this particular path, this point let call R2 and R1. I take this direction path, okay. Here the electric field is along the direction, along the radial direction, which means that along this path 1, the electric field is the direction of line segment, but essentially they are parallel to each other, okay. This is parallel to electric field. Okay. So parallel but in opposite direction. So there is some amount of potential rise or potential difference that would happen as you move from R2 to R1, okay. Now if you choose a path 1, you are moving in parallel to electric field, because electric field is also directed in same line but in the opposite direction, except so when you are moving R2 to R1 against the field, there will be some amount of potential difference. Now this is XY plane, because I am looking at particular plane, these are the fields in particular plane. We will talk about other coordinate system in which electric field are probably given by point charge data, okay. Now suppose I take different path, this is path 1. I take different path, let us say I go from R2 to R3 perpendicular to the line, okay. Then I go straight up from R3 to R1. So I go from R3 to R4 and then R4 to R1. So this long width path that I have taken, R2 to R3, R3 to R4, R4 to R1, please note that the direction is also very important, right. So I can't say R2 to R3 and then R4 to R3, it doesn't make sense. So this path whatever we are drawing are directional path, there is direction associated with the curve. So we will come to the directional sometime later. Now you have R2 R3 movement. So what is the direction of electric field? Assume that you are moving in this way. What will be the electric field? So the point chart, the path that I have chosen is not exactly correct. So we will come back to that point charge in a little bit for a time. Let us go back to uniform electric field itself. Okay, we are not talking about point charge. So I have uniform electric field going from horizontal to the right as we consider so far. So now electric field I am moving from R2 to R3. While I move from R2 to R3, electric field is always perpendicular to the direction of my movement, right? So I am moving vertically downward from R2 to R3, but electric field is directed to the horizontal on the right. So if you remember the force and object analogy, if I apply force perpendicular to the object do not move, no work is done, energy is expended but no work is being done. Okay, because object is not moving. So with the same analogy over here, I can move point charge perpendicular to electric field. I will be doing no work. Okay, now I move from R2 to R3 without any work. I am not going to move from R3 to R4. When I move from R3 to R4, I will be performing some work against the field, and this movement amount of work will be exactly equals to work that we have obtained if we have taken from R2 to R1, because this is parallel to the direction. It has same length here, and the electric field is same value from this path R3 to R4 and is same to R2 to R1. Okay, so because of this work done or the potential difference that I have accumulated or the potential rise that we have seen will be same as R2 to R1. Again, when I move from R4 to R3 R1, there is no work done. Here no work done, here also no work done, because object is moving and charge is moving perpendicular to the electrical field. Okay, so this is explanation for this one. You show mathematically that this statement actually holds true for electrostatic configuration. Okay, so electrostatic field have this property that electric potential is independent of path and potential difference depends only on the initial and final points. Okay, now there is very important observation that we have immediately made. This is some important that I am going to put 2 stars in the observations. So the observation is that you go from R2 to R3, you get no work. R3 to R4, you did some work against the field. Please note against the field. Now you move from R4 to R1, you did no work, but what happen if you move from R1 to R2? This is like if you take an object or a man and then carry this object or man up the hill and then let the man go when you have done work from carrying the man from sea level to mountain top. So you have done work against the earth gravity. So the earth gravitational field is actually trying to pull the man, but you take the man all the way up to the mountain. So you have expend that work, and that work is the work that we have performed on the charge where we move from R3 to R4. Okay, so you move on horizontal scale, but then potential energy would not change charge. Okay, so if on mountain top, if you have moved horizontally, the potential with respect to sea level would not change. However, now if you imagine that if you take the person to the edge of mountain and then you just drop the particular person, that would happen. All the potential energy that we have given to person so that the person can drive from sea level to mountain top will now converted or will now be given back in form of kinetic energy. The men get accelerated and then use all the potential energy gets converted into kinetic energy. So if now ask in the same way, if I move R3 and to R4, I do some work against the field. So there is some amount of potential energy sitting in the charge. Now when charge moves from R1 to R2, that movement is aside by the field and not against the field, aided by the field. Okay, it's not against the field, this movement. So if you assign a sign of minus for the work done from R3 to R4, the work done against this field from R3 to R4 movement should get some amount of work. You should recover the potential energy when you move from R1 to R2. Okay, so once we have done this complete closed path movement, we are back to the same point, right? So we started from R2, we went on all the way around the town, we came back to R2. So this is particular case. When we come back, we observe that the total work done must be equals to 0. So what would it imply in terms of potential? Well, it would simply implies that the potential with respect to same point, the difference will be 0. But crucially, there is right hand sitting in the expression for potential difference, and that the line integral will go 0 now. So what we are showing is that if you take a closed path of line integral, so you have EDL along closed path is equals to 0. So this is very important, and any field which should satisfy this criteria is called conservative field, or a conservative is sometime that I would use because everything would be too fluid mechanics for me to use. Now I will erase this. So we have conservative field which have the property that closed path line integral would always be equals to 0. Okay, so what is takeaway from all these? We can define potential through the work done per test charge is moving along. When you can choose any path to move, but the work done per charge, which is potential or the potential difference, which so to speak will be independent of closed path, chosen path, but it will be dependent on end point, initial and end points. Okay, and the third and very important observation is that if you move in a closed path, you start from a point, you move around and you come back to same point, the potential difference will be 0. But in terms of line integral, that closed line integral will be 0. So any such field that would satisfy this criteria is called conservative.